What makes a woman unshakably confident? It's not the crowd, not the compliments, it's solitude. Zig Ziglar uncovered a game-changing secret. When you dare to be alone, your brain ignites with new neural connections, turning stillness into extraordinary power. This isn't a fairy tale, it's real science. In this video, Quote Library will take you on a journey to discover why women who cherish their own presence are the most confident, and how you can awaken that strength today. Don't miss out, because the final quote from Ziglar will make you see solitude in a completely new light. Hello everyone, welcome to Quote Library. If this content inspires you, please hit that like button. Today, we're diving into why women who enjoy being alone are the most confident through the science of Zig Ziglar. Let's get started. They are pathways to power, confidence, and self-belief. You see, according to Zig Ziglar, your brain doesn't distinguish between being with others and being alone with yourself in a high-quality way. What matters is the emotional imprint you create in that moment. Let me explain what happens in your brain when you embrace solitude based on Ziglar's findings. The prefrontal cortex, the CEO of your brain, starts lighting up in new ways. Instead of seeking external validation, instead of constantly scanning your environment for approval, your brain begins forging new patterns, like an upgraded operating system. I used to live to please others, but when I started practicing what Ziglar teaches, I found I no longer needed anyone's permission to feel whole. This is the power of neuroscience he brings to life. New patterns. These patterns are the foundation of unshakable confidence. When most women feel lonely, their brains shift into survival mode. Stress hormones spike, their hearts race, and their minds fill with relentless noise. But here's the beautiful truth Zig Ziglar reveals. This response isn't fixed, it's learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. The moment you start enjoying your own presence, your brain releases a cocktail of neurochemicals that literally rewire its circuits. Serotonin levels stabilize, dopamine pathways shift from chasing external rewards to recognizing your inner worth. I used to get caught up in anxiety when alone, but applying what Ziglar says, I felt a peace no one else could give me. Serotonin grounded me, dopamine taught me true joy lies within. From seeking external rewards to realizing your own inner rewards. This isn't just change, it's evolution, as Zig Ziglar discovered. Think about it. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every breakthrough in human history came from people comfortable being alone with their thoughts. When you learn to be alone, you're not just passing time, you're reshaping your brain's structure, building a neural foundation for unshakable confidence. From the moment you're born, society starts programming you with a specific story about solitude. I used to feel empty without someone around, but Ziglar helped me see it was just a societal illusion. The great ones don't fear being alone, they harness it, and I began to understand why through his scientific lens. About being alone. As a woman, you've been conditioned to believe your worth is measured by relationships, connections, your ability to be with others. It's like an invisible script running in the background of your mind, telling you solitude equals loneliness, that being alone means something's wrong with you. But here's the fascinating thing Zig Ziglar points out about your brain and nervous system. They operate based on patterns, programming installed over years and decades. These patterns become your unconscious behaviors, your automatic responses, your default way of living. When a woman feels uneasy being alone, it's not her natural state, it's programming. I used to think my value lay in being needed by others, but Ziglar showed me it was just a coded loop. Our brains are like devices. They run what's been installed, but he insists we can rewrite this software. Think about how many times you've heard messages like, "You need to find someone," or "Don't you ever get lonely?" These aren't just harmless questions. They're part of a vast social conditioning system that's trained women to fear solitude. Your brain has literally been wired to associate being alone with danger, lack, or failure. But here's the exciting point Zig Ziglar emphasizes. Your brain isn't static, it's plastic, adaptable, moldable. Every time you consciously choose to enjoy your own presence, you're not just passing time, you're actively dismantling old neural pathways and creating new ones, reprogramming decades of societal conditioning on a biological level. Questions like, "Don't you get lonely?" used to make me doubt myself, but through Ziglar's research, I realized they're just echoes of society. Neuroplasticity is the key. Each time I chose to be alone without running, I felt myself breaking through old limits. When you start to grasp this, something profound happens. You realize discomfort with solitude isn't your truth. It's installed programming, like a computer virus running in the background, draining your energy, limiting your potential. But just like a computer, you can install new programming, as Zig Ziglar guides. The key is conscious awareness. When you feel the urge to distract yourself from being alone, when you reach for your phone or fill your schedule with endless tasks, pause. In that pause, you're creating space between stimulus and response. That space is where your power lies, where transformation begins. I used to be addicted to filling the void with noise, but Ziglar taught me that pausing is the first step to finding real strength. That moment is like a doorway. It opens the path to redefining solitude as freedom. Every time you consciously choose to stay with yourself, to enjoy your own presence despite the discomfort, you're not just changing behavior, you're altering your brain chemistry. You're telling your nervous system, no more fear, this is safe, this is good, this is where power lives. This isn't about rejecting connection or relationships. It's about breaking free from the programmed belief that you need others to feel whole, worthy, or confident. It's realizing the most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. As Zig Ziglar emphasizes, when you truly get this, truly feel it on a cellular level, everything shifts. I used to think confidence was something to earn externally, but through Ziglar's teachings, I saw it was always inside me, waiting to be uncovered. The relationship with myself is the bedrock, and he gave me the tools to build it. Shifts. Your brain starts forging new connections. Solitude becomes a source of strength, not pain. Being alone becomes an opportunity to grow, not a sign of lack. This is how Zig Ziglar helps you break free from the societal programming that's kept you small, dependent, and afraid of your own presence. Let me tell you about the magic that happens when a woman starts enjoying her own company. You don't just change your thoughts, you actually shift your energy field, your personal frequency in the quantum field. This isn't vague talk, it's science Ziglar has explored, and I felt that shift in every breath. When I stopped seeking validation, I felt lighter, like I was tapping into a greater flow of energy. This is the intersection of quantum physics and neuroscience that Zig Ziglar has studied. In quantum physics, everything is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, all create an electromagnetic field extending beyond your physical body. When you constantly seek validation from others, when you fear being alone, you're operating at a low frequency, your energy field clouded by fear, doubt, and dependency. But something miraculous happens when you start spending quality time alone. Your energy field begins to shift. Instead of being pulled in multiple directions by others' expectations and emotions, your field becomes coherent, like tuning a radio to the perfect station. Suddenly, the static fades and the signal becomes crystal clear. I used to be caught in the chaos of pleasing others, but Ziglar showed me that inner stillness is where my energy grows strongest. That's when I felt the clarity he describes. No more noise, just me and my true power. This isn't just theory. Scientists can measure these changes. When you're in a state of connection with yourself, your heart's electromagnetic field becomes more organized, more powerful, extending several feet beyond your body, influencing not just you, but everyone and everything around you. This is why women who enjoy their own presence, according to Zig Ziglar, have a unique magnetism. They're literally operating at a higher frequency. Think about what happens when you're truly at ease alone. No one to impress, no role to play, no mask to wear. In this space of authentic connection with yourself, your brain starts building new neural pathways. I used to try to be what others wanted, but practicing what Ziglar teaches, I realized true freedom is just being me. That magnetism isn't effort, it's the natural result of living at my own frequency. These pathways aren't just any pathways, they're superhighways of confidence, inner knowing, and unshakable self-assurance, as Zig Ziglar discovered. Every moment you spend in conscious solitude, you're training your brain to operate at this higher frequency, like upgrading your internal operating system. The old programs of neediness and external validation start to dissolve. New patterns of self-sufficiency and inner strength emerge. This is where the magic happens in the quantum field. As you elevate your energy signature through connection with yourself, you begin attracting different experiences, different opportunities, different relationships, not by striving or forcing, but by being. You become a match for what you desire. I used to think I had to fight for what I wanted, but Ziglar taught me that by shifting how I exist, everything flows naturally. A match for experiences aligned with your new, higher frequency. Let me share a fascinating link between your brain and the quantum field that Zig Ziglar uncovered. Your brain doesn't just process information, it creates reality. When you're alone and fully present with yourself, your brain waves shift from the busy beta state of thinking to alpha and theta. In these states, you're not just thinking differently, you're accessing different dimensions of consciousness. This is why women who relish their own presence seem to have an almost supernatural ability to manifest their desires. They're not just thinking about what they want, they're operating from a frequency that naturally draws it in. Their energy field becomes so coherent, so powerful, it starts influencing the quantum field around them. I used to be trapped in endless mental loops, but practicing what Ziglar guides, I felt a shift in how I exist. From chaos to peace, from haze to clarity. That's the power of solitude he unlocked. Every time you choose to spend quality time alone, you're not just passing time, you're reorganizing your life's energy field. You're creating new neural networks that support confidence, clarity, and personal power, as Zig Ziglar affirms. This isn't about being antisocial, it's about becoming so whole within yourself that your presence becomes a force of nature. The quantum field responds not to what you want, but to who you are. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you're being whole, complete, and confident. This energy signature becomes your new normal, attracting experiences that match your elevated state. I used to think I needed others to feel complete, but Ziglar showed me that when I complete myself, the world shifts too. It's not magic, it's science, he's proven. Let's talk about what really happens in your body when you master the art of enjoying your own presence, according to Zig Ziglar. This isn't just feeling good, it's fundamentally altering your biological structure. Your body is a powerful chemical factory, and when you learn to be confidently alone, you become a master chemist. Most women don't realize that every time they rely on others for happiness, they're creating a biological addiction. Their bodies become dependent on external sources for dopamine, serotonin, or oxytocin hits. But when you learn to embrace solitude, something miraculous happens in your internal chemistry. Your brain starts producing serotonin, the molecule of confidence, in response to your own presence. I used to chase joy from others, but Ziglar showed me I could generate it myself. When I'm alone and feel that peace, I don't just feel good, I feel my body changing, like it's healing from within. Think about this for a second. Instead of needing someone's approval or attention to feel good, Your brain starts producing these feel-good chemicals just because you're spending quality time with yourself. This isn't just emotional independence, it's biological sovereignty, as Zig Ziglar calls it. The stress hormone cortisol, which usually spikes when most people are alone, begins to drop. Your body learns that solitude isn't a threat, it's an opportunity to restore and empower. Your nervous system shifts from survival mode to creative mode. This is where true confidence is born, not in your thoughts, but in your cells. I used to dread being alone, but through Ziglar's teachings, I realized it was just my body reacting to old habits. When I changed my perspective, I felt cortisol fade, making way for the creativity he describes. When you consistently choose to enjoy your own presence, your dopamine pathways undergo a miraculous transformation. Instead of seeking quick hits of pleasure from external validation, your brain starts recognizing the deep satisfaction of connecting with yourself, according to Zig Ziglar's research. This is why women who love being alone often seem so calm, so unshakable. Their reward system has been rewired for internal fulfillment rather than external approval. Your body actually starts changing in ways I never expected. I used to run after praise to feel good, but applying what Ziglar teaches, I found that joy coming from within, sustained and deeper than anything external could offer. Its shape changes, stress hormones that cause inflammation and tension start to fade. Your posture improves because you're no longer carrying the weight of others' expectations. Your face relaxes because you're not constantly monitoring others' reactions. This is the physical expression of inner strength that Zig Ziglar uncovered. Your body literally reorganizes itself to reflect your newfound confidence. DHEA production, the hormone of youth, rises when you're at ease in solitude. This isn't just about looking younger, it's about having more energy, vitality, and life force available to you. When you're not constantly draining energy to please others or fill an inner void, your body can redirect that energy into regeneration and renewal. I used to feel exhausted from trying to please everyone, but practicing what Ziglar guides, I felt my body lighten, like it was being recharged from within. That's the miracle he pointed out. Beta endorphins, your body's natural painkillers and pleasure enhancers, start flowing more freely, creating a state of natural happiness that doesn't depend on anyone or anything outside you, as Zig Ziglar proved. It's like an inner sunshine that shines no matter what's happening around you. This biological shift creates a feedback loop. The more you enjoy your own presence, the more your body produces these confidence-boosting chemicals. The more these chemicals flow, the more natural and pleasant solitude becomes. You're not just changing your mind, you're changing your biology. I used to think happiness had to come from outside, but Ziglar showed me my body is a natural treasure chest, ready to deliver joy when I learn to be alone. That's the power of science he brings. Remember, every cell in your body listens to your thoughts, responds to your emotions. When you make peace with solitude, when you learn to truly enjoy your own presence, you're sending signals of safety, strength, and confidence to every one of your trillions of cells. This isn't just confidence, it's transformation on a cellular level. And that's how Zig Ziglar encodes the mind-body connection as a message in its life force. In the stillness of being alone, there's a doorway to something extraordinary. When a woman learns to meditate, fully present with herself, she's not just relaxing, she's rewiring her entire nervous system. This is where the real magic of self-transformation begins. I used to fear stillness, but through Ziglar's guidance, I found it's where I reclaim myself. Meditation isn't just rest, it's how I rebirth myself, just as he discovered. Let me tell you what happens in your brain during those precious moments of solitude and stillness, according to Zig Ziglar. When you first sit down to meditate, your mind might flood with thoughts, plans, worries. That's normal. It's your nervous system running on years of old programming. But as you keep showing up, as you gently bring your awareness back to this moment, something miraculous starts to happen. Your brainwaves shift from the high beta state of stress and overthinking to the calm, coherent alpha state. This isn't just relaxation, it's your brain reorganizing itself. I used to be swept away by endless thoughts, but Ziglar taught me how to master them. When I meditate, I feel that shift from chaos to peace, from doubt to clarity. In this state, the constant noise of self-doubt starts to quiet. The need for external validation begins to fade. You start tapping into a part of yourself that's always been there, whole, complete, confident, as Zig Ziglar pointed out. Here's a practical technique I want you to try right now. Bring your awareness to your heart center. Feel your heartbeat. Now, with each breath, imagine you're breathing directly through your heart. This isn't just visualization. You're creating what scientists call heart-brain coherence. This is when your heart's electromagnetic field and your brain's electrical activity synchronize. The moment I tried this technique, I felt the deep connection Ziglar describes. It's not just imagination. I could actually feel my body shift, like my heart and brain were beating as one. When your heart and brain are coherent, something miraculous happens. Your body releases nitric oxide, a molecule that not only dilates blood vessels, but also boosts your immune system and brings clarity to your thoughts, according to Zig Ziglar's findings. This is why women who regularly practice connecting with themselves through meditation often seem to have a natural glow. They're literally radiating coherence. As you keep practicing this, start noticing the space between your thoughts. That space is where your true power lies. It's where you can begin observing the old patterns that once drove me to seek validation. But through Ziglar's technique, I found that space is where I discovered freedom. The glow he talks about isn't just imagery. I felt it in every cell. Old patterns of seeking external validation. In this space, you can consciously choose new patterns, new ways of being with yourself. The key is consistency. Every time you meditate, every time you choose to be present with yourself, you're reinforcing these new neural pathways. You're teaching your nervous system that being alone isn't just safe, it's powerful. You're creating new reference memories in your brain that link solitude with strength, as Zig Ziglar guides. Let me share another powerful technique. While meditating, notice any tension in your body. That tension often represents old emotional patterns, old ways of protecting yourself. As you breathe into those areas, you're not just relaxing muscles, you're actually releasing stored emotional energy that's kept you from fully embracing your own presence. I used to carry tension like armor, but Ziglar showed me how to let it go. Each breath was a step to release, not just my body, but my mind felt lighter too. Your heart has its own neural network, a little brain, if you will. When you meditate, when you're fully present with yourself, these two brains start communicating harmoniously, creating a state of internal coherence so powerful it can be measured several feet from your body. This is why people often sense when someone is at ease in their own skin. They're picking up on this coherent energy field, as Zig Ziglar proved. Remember, meditation isn't about stopping thoughts. It's about building a new relationship with your inner world. Every time you sit in stillness, every time you choose to be present with yourself, you're laying the foundation for unshakable confidence. You're learning to be your own best friend. I used to think meditation was impossible with my busy mind, but through Ziglar's guidance, I saw it's how I reconnect with myself. That's the real power he brings, not total silence, but harmony. When you regularly step into this coherent state through meditation, you start carrying it into daily life. Suddenly, being alone doesn't spark anxiety, it brings peace. Being with yourself doesn't feel empty, it feels full. This is the power of presence, the gift of meditation, the magic of true connection with yourself that Zig Ziglar unlocked. And here's something most women never learn. The most important relationship you'll ever have isn't with a partner, friends, or even family. It's the relationship you have with yourself. When you truly become your own best friend, you trigger a biochemical shift in your body that changes everything. I used to seek comfort from others, but Ziglar helped me realize I'm my own greatest source of comfort. When I became my own friend, everything in me shifted, not just my mind, but my body. Think about what happens when you spend time with a good friend. Your body releases oxytocin, stress levels drop, you feel safe to be yourself. Now here's the revolutionary truth Zig Ziglar reveals. Your body can produce those same chemicals when you learn to be a loving friend to yourself. You don't need anyone else to feel connected and secure. Most women are taught that loving themselves is selfish, that putting themselves first is wrong. But this creates a dangerous dependency pattern. You become addicted to others' approval, presence, validation. Your nervous system gets wired to feel unsafe alone. But this isn't your natural state, it's learned behavior. I used to feel guilty for thinking of myself, but Ziglar showed me it was just faulty programming. When I learned to love myself, I wasn't just free, I became stronger than ever. Let me tell you what happens when you start treating yourself like your best friend, according to Zig Ziglar. First, your brain starts building new neural pathways. Instead of seeking comfort from others, you learn to comfort yourself. Instead of needing someone else to celebrate your wins, you become your own cheerleader. This isn't just psychological, it's neural rewiring. Start creating meaningful experiences with yourself. Take yourself out, have deep conversations with yourself through journaling, celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Each time you do this, you're not just passing time, you're creating new memories, new neural networks that link being alone with joy instead of pain. I used to see being alone as punishment, but through Ziglar's teachings, I turned it into precious moments. Every time I treated myself, I felt my brain shift, like I was rewriting my own story. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a great night with friends and a great night with yourself, as long as the emotional imprint is the same. When you start seeing time with yourself as valuable, as special, your brain releases the same feel-good chemicals it does with others, according to Zig Ziglar. Breaking the dependency pattern takes courage. It means sitting with the discomfort of not reaching for your phone when you feel lonely, learning to soothe yourself when you're sad, instead of instantly seeking external comfort. Each time you do this, you're building confidence on a cellular level. I used to run from loneliness, but Ziglar taught me to face it. Every time I chose to stay with myself, I felt stronger, not just in my mind, but in every cell of my body. The magic happens when you start creating positive memories with yourself. Your brain stores these experiences as reference points. Soon, being alone stops causing anxiety. It sparks anticipation. You start looking forward to solo time because you've trained your brain to associate solitude with joy, growth, and peace, as Zig Ziglar discovered. Think about the kind of friend you'd want. Someone who listens without judgment, celebrates your successes, comforts you in tough times. Now become that friend to yourself. This isn't just positive thinking, it's rewiring your brain's social reward system to include yourself as your primary source of comfort and joy. I used to dream of a perfect friend, but Ziglar helped me realize I could be that person. When I became my own friend, I no longer needed anyone else to feel whole. That's the power he unlocked. Remember, every moment you spend enjoying your own presence is like depositing into your self-worth account. Over time, these deposits build up, creating a rock-solid foundation of confidence and inner belief that no external circumstance can shake. As Zig Ziglar pointed out, something almost supernatural happens when a woman becomes fully self-reliant, like tapping into a hidden power most people never access. When you no longer depend on others to feel your worth, to find happiness, to gain validation, you step into what I call the supernatural zone. I used to waste energy pleasing others, but practicing what Ziglar teaches, I felt that energy return to me, powerful and free. That's the miracle he calls supernatural. Think about how much energy you've spent seeking approval from others. That energy isn't just emotional, it's real life force that could be used to create, to grow, to evolve. When you break free from the need for external validation, all that energy becomes available to you, as Zig Ziglar emphasizes. It's like suddenly gaining access to an infinite power source you didn't know existed. In this space of complete self-reliance, something extraordinary happens to your brain chemistry. Your neural pathways shift from survival mode, constantly seeking approval, validation, reassurance that you're okay, to creative mode. This is where the supernatural begins. You start accessing parts of your brain that were previously hidden, locked away by dependency and fear. I used to live in fear of rejection, but Ziglar helped me turn that energy into creative power. When I stopped seeking approval, I felt my brain open up, like a new door had been unlocked. Most people live their whole lives in the known, in what's comfortable and predictable. But when you learn to fully rely on yourself, you naturally start transcending these limits. You begin tapping into what Zig Ziglar and quantum physics call the field of infinite possibilities. This isn't just theory, it's your brain opening new neural networks that let you perceive opportunities you couldn't see before. When you break the addiction to external validation, your pineal gland, what ancient traditions call the third eye, starts activating in new ways. You begin having insights, ideas, and inspirations that seem to come from nowhere. This is your supernatural power awakening. It's your brain accessing higher states of consciousness that were always there but blocked by reliance on others. I used to think random ideas were just luck, but through Ziglar's research, I realized they come when I'm free from dependency. That's the supernatural strength he describes, not a miracle, but my natural potential. Think about the energy it takes to constantly monitor others' reactions, to always check if you're accepted, if you're doing it right, if you're good enough. When you release that addiction to approval, all that energy becomes available to create, to manifest, to transform. You truly become supernatural, operating beyond the usual constraints of societal conditioning, as Zig Ziglar pointed out. In this state of complete self-reliance, coincidences start happening more often. Opportunities seem to appear out of thin air. This isn't magic. It's what happens when you free up the massive neural energy once tied up in seeking validation. Your brain becomes more efficient at spotting opportunities because it's no longer distracted by the need for approval. I used to be shocked when things fell into place, but Ziglar explained it's the result of freeing energy. When I stopped worrying about others' views, I saw opportunities everywhere, like the world was responding to me. Remember, becoming supernatural isn't about gaining new powers. It's about removing the barriers that kept you from your natural state of strength. When you truly understand this, when you live this truth, you become unstoppable, as Zig Ziglar affirms. When you decide to break old patterns and create a new reality, you're not just making a mental choice, you're physically restructuring your brain. This is where neuroscience meets quantum physics, where intention meets biology, where thought becomes matter. Every time you feel lonely, every time you reach for your phone to fill the void, every time you avoid being alone, you've reinforced neural networks of dependency. These aren't just habits, they're real physical pathways in your brain. But here's the revolutionary truth Zig Ziglar reveals. You can rewire those pathways through conscious choice and consistent action. I used to rely on busyness to avoid loneliness, but Ziglar showed me I could change that. Every time I chose to stay with myself, I felt my brain reshaping. That's the power of awareness he brings. Think about emotional addictions. Most women don't realize they're addicted to certain emotional states. Maybe the familiar feeling of not being enough, of needing approval, of feeling incomplete without others. These emotions create specific chemical signatures in your body. Your cells become addicted to those chemicals, unconsciously driving you to seek situations that recreate those familiar feelings. But quantum physics, as Zig Ziglar explains, tells us something miraculous. The observer affects what's observed. When you start observing these emotional addictions without judgment, without trying to change them, something miraculous happens. The act of observing begins to break the pattern. You create space between stimulus and response, between trigger and reaction. I used to be caught in feeling not enough, but Ziglar taught me to step back and watch. When I did, I felt the old pattern dissolve, not by force, but by the awareness he emphasizes. Here's what happens in your brain when you choose to enjoy your own presence instead of giving in to old patterns. According to Zig Ziglar, at first, your body might resist. It wants that familiar chemical hit of validation, distraction, busyness. This is the withdrawal phase. But if you persist, if you keep choosing differently, your brain starts building new neural networks. These aren't random pathways. They're superhighways of self-reliance, inner peace, and unshakable confidence. Every time you choose to be present with yourself, every time you resist the urge to flee solitude, you're reinforcing these new pathways. You're literally restructuring your brain's default response to being alone. I used to feel restless alone, but Ziglar helped me push through that phase. Each time I stayed, I felt the shift, like I was building a new version of myself. The quantum field responds to who you are, not who you're trying to be. When you consistently choose to be someone who enjoys their own presence, finds peace in solitude, draws strength from within, this field starts reorganizing around this new version of you. This isn't metaphysical thinking, it's quantum mechanics Zig Ziglar has studied. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and one you vividly imagine. This is why visualization is a powerful tool for creating new neural networks. When you regularly visualize yourself as someone completely at ease alone, drawing strength from solitude, your brain starts building the neural structure to support this new reality. This is how extraordinary people achieve emotional freedom and peak performance effortlessly, as Zig Ziglar pointed out. I used to doubt visualization's power, but applying Ziglar's method, I saw it's not just daydreaming, it's how I reshape my reality day by day. Breaking emotional addictions means understanding that discomfort is part of the rewiring process. When you feel the urge to seek validation, to fill the silence, to run from yourself, it's not a signal to stop. It's a signal that rewiring is happening. That discomfort is actually the sensation of new neural networks forming. Remember, every moment you choose differently is a moment of rewiring, of transformation, of creating a new reality. This isn't just change, it's evolution in action. As Zig Ziglar affirms, your future self already exists in the quantum field. That version of you, fully confident, at peace with solitude, radiating unshakable strength, isn't just a possibility. It's a reality you can step into right now. This is where the real magic of transformation begins. I used to fear discomfort, but Ziglar taught me it's a sign of growth. When I visualized my stronger self, I felt it wasn't distant. It was there, waiting for me to step in. Think about this. Most people live from their past. They let memories, old patterns, past experiences dictate who they are today. But when you learn to live from your future self, you completely flip the script. You start making decisions not based on who you were, but on who you're becoming. In the quantum field Zig Ziglar studies, time isn't linear. Your future self exists alongside your present self. When you grasp this, you realize you can tap into her wisdom, confidence, and strength right now. Every time you sit in solitude, every time you choose to enjoy your own presence, you're not just passing time, you're time traveling. You're stepping into the energy field of your evolved self. This isn't just metaphysical, it's based on the physics of consciousness. I used to be stuck in my past, but Ziglar gave me the key to live from my future. Every time I'm alone, I feel like I'm touching my best self, not a fantasy, but a reality he's proven. Your brain is designed to lock you into familiar patterns based on past experiences. But when you consciously choose to live from your future self, you start creating new neural pathways aligned with this elevated version of you. You're literally rewiring your brain to match your future reality. And here's what happens when you start living as your future self. According to Zig Ziglar, your posture changes, your voice carries new authority, your decisions come from a place of strength rather than fear. You stop asking permission to be yourself. You stop apologizing for loving solitude. You become magnetic, not because you're seeking attention, but because you're radiating coherence. I used to shrink from fear, but living as Ziglar guides, I stand taller, speak clearer, and feel stronger. It's not effort, it's becoming, just as he said. The science of manifestation isn't about wishing things were different. It's about aligning so fully with your future self that your current reality has no choice but to catch up. When you consistently embody the energy of a confident woman who loves her own presence, you create a resonance in the quantum field that attracts experiences matching this frequency, as Zig Ziglar discovered. Remember this, your future self isn't worried about being alone. She's not scrolling social media for validation. She's not filling her schedule to avoid solitude. She's completely at peace with herself, confident in her path, certain of her worth. And her reality is available to you right now in this moment. I used to think I had to wait for confidence, but Ziglar showed me I could live it now. When I did, I felt the peace he describes, not far off, but right within me. Every time you choose to act from your future self, you're not just imagining, you're actually shifting your brain chemistry, your energy field, your reality. This is real transformation, real power, the science of becoming supernatural through self-mastery that Zig Ziglar brings. This isn't about waiting to become confident. It's about stepping into that confidence now. Your future self is waiting. She's always been waiting, and now you know how to become her. I used to think confidence was a destination, but through Ziglar's teachings, I realized it's a choice. Every step I take with his guidance brings me closer to my strongest self, not in the future, but today. So we've just uncovered the secret behind peak confidence from Zig Ziglar, the hidden power in those moments you spend alone. Solitude isn't a barrier, it's the key to becoming your most powerful self. What do you think of this journey? Leave a comment below and share which Ziglar quote struck you most. I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications to keep the inspiration flowing with Quote Library. Try spending a few minutes alone today. You'll be amazed at what you discover. See you next time.